Hey, how's everybody doing out there? It is another great day for us, and we are so excited because we have Miss Kaylee Geist, who, I actually know her. I'm so excited you're here, Kaylee. And I'm also so excited to see Krista, and she is moving her arm and doing so great. Look at that. Look at that. You'd never know that 3 weeks ago she severed her arm off her body and had it sewed back on. I'm making it a little more dramatic than it was, but it was quite a deal. So Krista, hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, it's progress every day. So this is really good, wherever this was. But that's it. That's the window of movement, right? And so I'm being very patient and doing everything the doctors and physical therapists are recommending because I want to be able to shoot my bow again. I just started the process. Karen literally in the last less than 3 months, gave me my first outside of the trailer experience lesson. And it just is hanging there in my downstairs office saying, please play with me. Soon. It'll be very soon. Kaylee, we're so excited that you're joining us today, and I'm glad that everyone is on here watching. Kaylee, why don't you take a quick minute and kind of introduce yourself and sort of set the groundwork so people understand, where you come from and how you're going to help us with this question. What's the difference between competition and hunting experience archery?
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Kaylee Geist. I'm from Colorado Springs originally, still live there. Love Colorado. Get to go outside as much as possible and shoot my bow. I've been shooting a bow since I was 3 years old. My dad and my mom both got me into it, and my mom started shooting a few months after I did, and we started competing as soon as we could, and my dad got me out there in the woods hunting with them, and it was just a great experience. As for competition side of things, I started in a JOAD program when I was 12. I was on a hunt. It was a rifle hunt, not an archery hunt, but shot my deer, literally shot my deer and went, Dad, can we make it home so I can make the archery tournament tomorrow? And he goes, yeah, we can make that happen. So that was the start of my JOAD career. I missed my bronze Olympian by 1 point at that tournament, and then proceeded to continue on and get all my pins through JOAD. Made the USAT team twice. The second time I did end up making number 1, and then I went, I don't really like standing at 50 meters and shooting 50 meters. So I expanded further and started shooting more of the NFA national events and some ASAs. I actually have ended up winning Vegas twice, once in the youth class and once in the young adult class. I just love competing. I love getting new people involved in the sport and then being out in the woods. And I mean, whether you get something or not, you're sitting out there in the peace and quiet, getting to know yourself more than anything. So I just think that's really cool.
I have to add, Kaylee, so for all of you that aren't familiar with some of these acronyms she sent out there, so I'll have Kaylee describing some of the NFAA tournaments, but the tournament she's talking about in Vegas is like the premier world archery tournament. And, pre-COVID, you'd have thousands and thousands of archers there shooting a 3-spot target. And if you didn't shoot well, you'd shoot a 1-spot target. But if you shoot really well, you can count the X 3 times. And Kaylee really, it was so exciting when she won that tournament for the first time. And then the second time, it's just like, come on, now you're just showing off. But she worked hard at it. She trained hard. So Kaylee, tell us a little bit about the training that you did to prepare for those tournaments. Like, how often did you shoot?
All through high school, I was shooting probably close to 200 arrows a day, because I didn't have to work. I didn't have to do anything. So once I got out of school, I went to our local archery shop and I shot. And we didn't close until 9. So I normally would be there from 3 to 9 shooting. And can't tell you I spent all that time shooting because I like to talk a little bit. But I would go up and help when they needed help and everything. But just practice and repetition. Getting to as many local tournaments as I could was very important for me because I don't practice well. I've never been a good practicer, but I would just make sure I got lots of arrows downrange and then go to those local tournaments to check my setups. So that way, when I got to a national event, I was ready to go, knew what the nerves were going to feel like, everything like that. Not that I really felt much nerves because my mom had enough nerves for all of us.
That's what moms do. That's what
Yeah,
moms do.
She was so good at it. So I just let her sit in the stands and be all nervous for me too.
So that was a lot of work you just mentioned that
Yes.
maybe it wasn't all work from 3 to 9, but you did
Right.
200 arrows a night.
Yep.
Was there some other physical training that you were doing in conjunction to keep those muscles the way they needed to be, or was it just working with your bow?
For the most part, it was just working with my bow. I was in a lot of weight training classes, and my weight training coach for high school was very cool. And I told him, hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm a competitive archer. So anything you can help with strengthening like my shoulders and things like that. So he basically geared a system towards me, which was more of like pull-ups and rows and things like that than bench press, because bench press bulks up here, not in your shoulders where it needs to be. So that helped a lot. And I've never been a good runner, never been good with cardio, but he's like, hey, you've got to run because in high intense situations, you've got to be able to control your heart rate and things like that. So I learned a lot.
Cool. That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between the competition concept and the hunting concept. I mean, it's a bow.
Yeah.
The arrows, probably the tips are probably different. There might be some things there, but first let's talk about the mindset difference. Is there some, I mean, obviously it's still a competition in some way, right, when you're out trying to harvest an animal to feed your family. Can you kind of give us some background on that?
So I would say more on the competition side, you don't have to be so quiet or anything like that. So you can have kind of talking yourself through it, things like that, have a song in your head. But being out in the woods, it's more about like focusing on your surroundings and making sure you're as quiet and still as possible, which is a very hard concept for me. But just sitting out there, I mean, shooting a target versus shooting an animal, I feel are very similar. You get the same adrenaline rush, at least I do. And you just want to make sure you're executing the best shot possible. And the best way to do that is make sure that you put yourself in those high intensity situations.
Great. So you mentioned in the beginning, I think that you started and then your mom followed you into the archery world. Yep. Right. So that maybe that seems backwards in my mind, but that might be a normal process. I don't know. So tell us a little bit about that.
I see it a lot more in the archery shops that kids get into it and then parents follow. My dad started shooting a bow when I was a baby and was carrying me around in a backpack, and I kept trying to look through his peep sight to see his sight to watch him shoot and see where he hits and everything. So he's like, okay, yeah, we need to get her involved in something like this. So he got me a bow and I started shooting, and my mom went, well, I'm not going to stay home. So she got a bow and started shooting, and we haven't looked back. We've been shooting ever since.
It's a family affair. It's a family affair.
It's very much a family affair. And so, y'all, I started shooting, and Kaylee and her family kind of took me in when I started shooting. And so I was the newbie on the block, and Anne was particularly kind to me as another woman in the archery shop. You know, you walk into a kind of male dominated environment, and it's nice to have a friendly face there that's like, hey, come on, you can do this. Sure you can. Let's go. And so that is really, it's just incredible family that we've got here. And Kaylee, I'm so proud of you and everything that you've done. I haven't seen Kaylee in a long time. And so for me, this is a little different because I remember her as a little girl, and she's this amazing young woman who's so accomplished. And Kaylee, I guess the question that I'd have for you looking back, so your parents didn't push you to do this. You wanted to do it.
Yep.
But for those parents out there, what can you tell them that you've learned that you're applying now in your adult life that you learned when you were a child competing in archery and hunting?
I learned so much just being, figuring out what I wanted to do, not having a parent go, here's how you're going to do this. Here's what you're going to do. Of course, they wanted me to shoot because that's what they enjoyed as well. So they were very happy that this is what I chose. But in the same light, they would have been happy had I done anything. But pushing your kid to do something that they don't want to do will not get them far. And just support them in what they want to do, and they will take it and go farther with it, because if it's your passion as well, they see that and they want to take that forward with them, which is what I've done.
Yeah. So, but what about, so, I know you're in school right now. So what skills did you learn in archery that you transferred to your adult life, like discipline,
Mm-hmm.
right? That kind of thing?
Yeah, discipline's kind of been a hard one for me, because so I waited 5 years before I went back to school, and I was sitting in college my first day and went to class, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of young kids in here, and it's really starting to make me feel old being in here with a bunch of 17-year-old kids. But me waiting and now doing it, I learned so much, because I got to go and shoot. I got to go and do what I wanted to do, and I wasn't making the money I wanted to make doing that. So I sat down and went, well, if I want to keep doing this, I need to find something that I can take with me in the archery world and continue shooting my bow, but get a real people job and start making money to where I can actually do what I want to do and keep that discipline in shooting and everything like that.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
So-
well, I'm sure proud of you. Go ahead, Krista.
I was gonna say, well, before we end up, because we're almost at 12 minutes already. It goes by so fast.
It does.
It's amazing to me how quickly 15 minutes passes by. If you could give a brand new adult female potential archer one simple bit of advice, simple, something not overwhelming, just that, how do you take that first step? What would it be?
I would say the first step, find a lady in archery already and go talk to her, because 90% of them are more than willing to help you, and they will give you all the advice you can ever ask for, and they will help you along your journey. They will make sure you're not overbowed, underbowed, which by that I'm meaning draw weight, poundage, things like that, which is super important, because if you're overbowed, it's not fun. If you're underbowed, well, you're not going to hit what you want to hit. So just finding someone in the sport that's willing to help you out. And I found that women work better with women, just in them coming in the shop and everything, because a lot of men think, well, you're a girl, so you're going to be a little weaker. It's not true. We can do it. We just need to be pushed a little bit harder.
Well, and our bodies are different. I mean,
Yes.
the reality is our bodies are absolutely different. And so the way we do things might be different. And there would be that,
Yep.
communication and understanding with that female partner helping you through the
Yes.
process. I have one. I have my own archery partner. She's over there.
Right there.
right,
Oh,
right over
there it
there.
is.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So it kind of cracks me up, because I started my draw weight when I first started was like 28 pounds, and now I shoot 50 pounds normally, and I hunt at 60 pounds. And so it's always interesting how once you learn the technique,
Yeah.
you really can, and of course, get a good coach. So I don't want to make this a sad time, but Kaylee's dad was my coach, and he worked with me and helped me really become a very good archer. And Anne was like my secondary coach, because she was like the biggest cheerleader. And when you go into an archery shop, what you're going to find is some really great people, and you will make lifelong friends. Even if you don't see them for years, you'll catch up with them one day and be like, everything is the same as it was. And you got to go do it. And Kaylee is a great example of parents introducing their children to archery, having it be a passion that she chased after graduated from high school and said, I'm going to be a professional archer. I'm going to go hit the road. Found out, hey, I'm going to go back to school so I can do this full time and really enjoy it, and buy a new bow every year, which is expensive to do anymore.
Yes, it is.
But I'm just so thankful that you came on today, and it's great to see you. We've had an incredible run this week. I think last week we did a drawing. I mailed out all the packages, by the way, y'all. You got to be proud. You know, Kaylee, I am very bad at mailing. Like, and I mailed, thank you, Krista. I mailed all of the addresses that we had. So if Krista's reached out to you and you didn't send her your address, you obviously didn't get anything yet. So easy answer. If y'all have questions for Kaylee as we're wrapping up, let us know, and I'll turn it back over to Krista. And thanks, Kaylee. It's so great to see you.
Thank you guys for having me.
I have one last question for you, Kaylee, unless someone else pops in. If I know you're in school and you're working hard to be able to continue to do this full time, how would people follow you? You know, you've obviously created a mark for yourself in the industry. For the new impressionable archers out there, whether they're young women or older women like me, do you have a public page? Is there something we can share so they can follow you on your journey?
Yeah, I do. It's Kaylee Geist Archery on Facebook. I'm not posting on there very much, but as our season picks up, I'll post on there some more. And I just try to keep everybody in the loop of like tournaments going on in Colorado, or if I'm heading to a national event, which doesn't look like I'm going to this year, sadly, but yeah, just keeping everybody shooting and hunting everything.
Well, and we hope that we will see you at the trailer when we're out in Colorado this year.
Yes.
Yes. So anybody on here that follows us and is attending our event and experience at Colorado Springs, I think it's later in the year, fallish.
I think September.
Hopefully Kelly will be there and you can meet her live and in person. Thank you again so much for joining us. And Karen, I can't see any comments, so I'm going to make an assumption that no questions came up. I do know that there were a couple I'm getting back into archery kind of statements made.
Yeah, we've got a lot of girls saying thank you, and they are really excited to start archery. So we've got quite a few people that are getting into archery. Awesome.
So Kaylee, again, thank you for joining us. To finish up for this week, we have our winner from last week. So we tried something different last week. We had one of our staff instructors, Rebecca King, give the Hoppy's gun cleaning class via a video concept where Karen and I were in the background answering questions. It looks like it went pretty well. I saw a lot of you commenting on you needed to go home and clean your guns, or maybe that was a weekend project coming up kind of thing. As always, we drew a name from the like, comment, and shares to be the recipient of a swag bag. Oh, we're going to do a Hoppy's cleaning kit, I think. And that was Lee Neff. So congratulations, Lee. I'll reach out to you and get your address for Karen to mail it sometime in the coming weeks. I have to be honest, we're picking on Karen, right? Because mailing or going to the post office and getting the packages into the box may not be the thing at the top of her list. But let me just tell you, if you start watching our schedules and posts for the next 6 to 8 weeks, it's going to be a miracle that Karen is actually at home. So we have a lot of exciting things going on. If you have not checked that thing off your list where you think I need to go ahead and send my essay in for the Beretta hunt experience, it's time to do it. We're taking those essays through April 5th. We've seen a lot of good entries out there.
Yep. And just a little hint, though, it is an essay contest, and that requires an essay. So if you want to get in the top, you need to write an essay, please.
Right. Write an essay and share with us.
Yes.
Why and what and how and anything that you think is relevant to your hunt experience and the participating in this Beretta hunt.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to finishing out that and reading the remainder of the essays for the next 5 days.
Oh, we do have a question. I know the answer. I'm let Kaylee answer it.
Okay.
So the question is, should you use different arrows for hunting?
Yes. So for most of the target stuff year round, I shoot a 23 diameter arrow, which is a bigger diameter arrow. For hunting, I recommend, especially for women, shooting a smaller diameter arrow because they hit harder and you get better penetration out of them at the lower draw weights. Because, sorry, we're not all macho men and can't all pull 70 pounds. So it's just better to shoot a smaller diameter arrow and you can get away with a lot more.
Well, that was good information to know. That might be the first time I've ever heard that one myself. I like that. Thank you. Thank you for answering that. For this live, don't forget, like, comment, and share. We'll pick a winner for next week and send a Lucky Girl swag bag. We have a few things coming up. I can't remember. Oh, next week's live is with Julie Glob with Smith & Wesson. She's going to pop in on that Thursday night. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the changes in their new firearms offering and why it might make a difference in your life. And besides that, back on the road next week. Everybody's home this weekend. I think Waco is next weekend, and we start rocking and rolling, right, Karen?
Yep, Waco, and then Wichita Falls, or Wichita, not Wichita Falls, but Wichita. Yeah, we're going to be on the road quite a bit, and we hope to see all of you at one of our stops somewhere or at one of our hunts, and we're excited to announce the winner of the Hunt Like a Girl contest. That winner will be announced next week on the 7th, I think it is, of April, and then you're hunting, whoever wins is hunting with us in Kansas in May. So not a lot of time. It's gonna be a fun hunt with lots of swag, I think. So it's gonna be good. All right. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kaylee, for joining us.
Your mom my love, and tell her that she's just an amazing woman. I hope I get to see her in Colorado Springs too.
She will be there.
Awesome. Bye, y'all.
Bye, Kaylee. It was nice chatting.
Good to chat with you.